If you've ever lived in the top half of Australia, you might relate to this story. On those hot tropical afternoons in these old Queenslanders, under here is where you might retreat to. But more on that later. Upstairs is where the real story begins.
The brief was, Lindy, to create a new outdoor living space in which they could sit to enjoy their beautiful garden. There was a problem in that we had a 1940s tack-on bathroom sitting right here, which blocked the views. It had to go, and what it meant was that the brief became not just a living space, but also a bathroom.
This is beautiful. What a gorgeous bathroom, but there's no windows.
No windows, Lindy. This is the tropics, where we like to get the air out as quickly as we can. There's gaps in the board so that all of the air can move up and out.
And I guess it's private enough.
We set the sills at 1500 or at neck height so that we could get the views out, not down but up into the trees.
So why have you made it so different from the original house?
Well, Lindy, the old house was built in the late 1800s in a bygone era, so it just gets way too hot. So it's a new way of modern living in the tropics. Under the house here, what's interesting is they used to use these spaces for storage and everything, but because it was such a nice, cool environment, the people would come and have a beer there or have a sit down. So we took that idea, and what we thought we should do is celebrate it by building in a new formalised space underneath the new extension.
With a proper head height?
Yeah, it's a Queenslander kind of thing.
Putting aside the majestic garden and gorgeous timber finishes, you'd be forgiven for thinking this is a conventional suburban home. So let's see, what is it that elevates this home to an architectural award winner? Paul, this is a beautiful large home on a unique heritage site.
Yes, we had the unique opportunity of the client coming to us and talking to us before they bought the site.
What were some of the specific challenges in designing this home?
The trees that peppered the site, many of which were listed, but also the creek, which is prone to seasonal flooding. What we needed to do was to elevate the house sufficiently so that it wasn't inundated at time of flood, but that it sat happily within the garden and sat amongst the trees that are around us.
David, no matter where you walk in this home, there's a unique view. It's like the outsiders coming in.
Yeah, we wanted to make the house feel like a walk through this historic garden. Everywhere you go, you can look out to see the garden, but also see the house sitting in the garden.
Paul, this is a gorgeous space.
Yes, we were very pleased with the design and how it came out here. The uplighting was deliberate in that it defines the volume of the space, but also the neutral palette means that we can bring timber into the house from the exterior, and so we have that seamless integration. And subtly, with changes of level, that we introduce a children's space within the main volume so that they can then decorate with their artwork.
This is a perfect example of what can be achieved with careful planning to bring nature into the family home.
This is one of my favourite parts of the design here at the back of the house. The original house just had a big brick wall that didn't have any openings onto the national park at all. We basically wanted to connect all the interior spaces onto this sort of very private rainforest.
And what's that part up there at the top?
Oh, that's one of my favourite parts of the design, I'll have to show you. We were asked to renovate a very mission brown 1970s brick beach house. There wasn't anywhere before to sort of sit outside and enjoy the beautiful subtropical climate. Hot summer sun used to blast in through these windows, making the internal spaces really hot.
And so the screen gives you a bit of privacy from the street as well?
Yeah, it gives protection from the sun, but also privacy from the street. And then we put in a new pool just down below as well.
This is lovely.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You can have a shower or a bath looking out into this very private rainforest setting. And through here is where the sun sets across the trees. So it's just a short walk here to all the cafes and surfing beaches just down the road.
And it's right there through the national park. It's Australia's most visited national park, apparently.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
There's hope for the old 70s bunkers yet, when you can break open the walls and create fabulous spaces like this. I love this house.
We all know the simple Aussie farm shed, no frills, no tricks. So what happens when the shed meets the shack? Martin, there you are. I found you in your silver shed.
Yeah, thanks Tim. It is a shed. You would have passed a few of these on your way in. There's plenty of these galvanised shearing sheds in this area, as there is across Australia.
They're so famous, the Australian shed.
In South Australia, they call their holiday homes a shack. It's a place to come and relax and live casually.
So when I'm here, am I inside or out, Martin? I can't quite work it out.
Well, Tim, when you're here, you can either be inside or outside. I mean, it's designed in a way that can be opened or closed. It can be a veranda or it can be a sunroom when the sun comes streaming in. I mean, the idea was to get a very intimate connection with the bush, but also maintain those views to the ocean.
But we also seem to be between, so what's either side of us?
Well, on one side we've got a self-contained one-bedroom home for the owners, and then when they have their family and friends come and stay, we've got a bunk room upstairs and a bedroom here downstairs and a bathroom for guests.
First thing I notice is how warm and bright it is in here.
And would you believe they're totally off the grid? They produce their own power via photovoltaics on the shed, and the whole house is run by efficient lighting and appliances. The owners had made the decision that they wanted to live sustainably, so we designed the house to run totally without the use of external power sources.
And I can see that you've done that with large windows to the north, so you're able to suck that sun in and
That's
presumably
right.
the warmth with it.
Yeah, in the winter when the sun does shine, it helps to warm this space. And because we wanted to capture the views, the glazing had to be very efficient, and so we've used very efficient double glazed units to prevent heat loss out of the home.
And yet I can see out those windows an endless supply of firewood too.
The owners just have to take a walk with a wheelbarrow and they're right for the winter.
That's pretty sustainable heating.
It is.
At its most simple, architecture can affect our emotions. It can excite us, or it can take us off grid and restore us. And who doesn't need a bit more of that?